We are
Oh, we are
live.
live. Oh my God.
Hello,
Are
hello.
we here? Yes. So listen, I'm getting an error. My Facebook is not letting us stream live. So
I
I don't know
see
what's
that.
happening with that.
Hmm,
But anyway, the show goes on, right?
always.
Yes.
What's wrong with Facebook? Um
We could go on for a long time on that one. That's another episode, okay?
Are we talking politically? Are we talking
I mean,
socially, spiritually? What are we talking here?
wow. Yeah, okay, look, we're live now, so we're gonna keep it flowing. We're present on YouTube, and I really want to be present on Facebook because Kimberly is here. Kimberly Collins, poet, professor, who does healing work using creativity and writing. And I was like, this woman is right up our alley. And
Yes,
I said,
indeed.
Alexandra, what do you think? Alexandra said, hell yeah.
Just
And
like that.
that was a good
so,
impression, Jody.
so today we're going to step away from a little bit. We're here's what's happening, folks. Lyrical Meditation Cipher is going through a growth moment. And during this growth spurt, we are expanding our team. We're actually going to work. Thank you for the visual aid, Takia. We're actually going to work with a producer, and she's brilliant, and she's going to be coming on deck. And she has some great visions and ideas. And so we're going to play around a little bit with the format, just a little bit. And we're going to step all the way in to our purpose. We're pretty close to being ready for monetization, for public performance and presentation,
Mhm.
featuring at conferences, doing live podcast sessions.
Hmm.
We've done a lot of grooming and a lot of training, and then we have access to people like our guest today, Kimberly Collins,
Who
who
just
is
bring it.
just bring it a master teacher, founder of an impactful organization that does exactly what we do.
Mhm.
We use writing for healing. And so we want to welcome you to the Cipher. I am Tony Blackman, one of your hosts.
And I am Alexandra, your other host. We created this podcast because we believe that hip hop is in alignment, or it can be, with healing, wellness, and transformation.
Yeah, and it's we created it because we want to use what we do as a way to make the world a better place, to help people heal. And we do that through using different topics, doing a prayer, having meditation be a part of our process. We've got our own coach in residence, Takia,
Hmm.
in the building. So, Takia,
Yes. This topic today
yeah,
of exhaustion.
yes,
I really gave this a lot of thought. And the simplest thing is usually the thing, right?
the, the thing.
And for human beings, we need alignment, we need balance, and we need connection. And these three things are completely askew currently
Yeah.
from what I can see and feel in humanity at large. And so this alignment, it starts internally. And so we can start with just how we're out of alignment with our head and our heart, right? So where we're working jobs and not serving, right? It takes a lot of energy to work a job and not feel like you're actually offering your gifts to the world, which is our point of being here. Why else are we here if not than to offer that
Yeah.
which was endowed in us?
Yeah. But that sounds like work, Takia. We tired, huh? Me and
Well, we're
Alexandra are
tired.
tired.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're tired because we're having to push. We're working for motivation instead of from inspiration,
Mm.
right? It's
Yeah.
hard work
Yeah. I
to
feel like
push ourselves into action instead of being pulled by spirit.
I feel like our society rewards people that work so hard that they have nothing left. I feel like that grind culture is something that people aspire to be.
Hmm.
And we see that on TV, we see that in movies. I feel that pressure in my own life to always be doing something. Like I remember I was sick the other day, and I should have just been relaxing in bed, but for whatever reason, when I was sick in bed, I felt like I had to do everything. I was like,
Right.
oh, I have a day off today. Maybe I'll clean my room while I have COVID.
Hmm.
Could not sit still.
Wow.
I could not figure out why, but I think it's just because of these beliefs ingrained in us that we cannot have a moment to ourselves.
Or if we
That's
take a
so
moment to be selfish, right? Then we're not. Then something else is being left off. That
Mhm.
something else is not being taken care of. Or if we, we hear the constant, chime of being on your grind. You better get on your grind. And the moment that you are not on your grind, then something's being let go through the loophole, or there's a constant. And so there's this guilt that also sets in when you're not doing. I was just having the same conversation with a friend, and she was like, I just feel like if I'm not doing something. And you know what? Sometimes I'm like, I what I am doing is laying down. That's an exercise too.
Yes.
And a really good way to actually shift out of that is to have that internal conversation of giving yourself permission to just be lying down. Because
Exactly.
the struggle is internally, you're thinking, I need to be, I need to be, I need to be, I should, I should, I should. But if you just for a moment go into that conversation and say, wait, I have a choice. I can
Right.
decide to do something different here, and just
Yeah.
I give myself full permission to just be still.
And one of those ways that that I do that too. I remember seeing this documentary with Toni Morrison, and she talked about her writing time. And I remember when I was in grad school and I had produced this paper, and my teacher was like, "Did you stop and fried chicken in the middle of this, or did you go run an errand and decided to come back and you didn't know how you wanted to catch up with whatever it was that you were writing about?" And that's when I began to understand that the importance of writing time. And Toni Morrison is one of my favorite authors, but I also think that she gave me one of my favorite kind of quotes. I am really smart before 2 o'clock p.m. So when I wake up, I get as much stuff as I can as I can get done. Because after 2, I don't know what happens. I start to go into a natural little relax mode. Like,
No,
That's
that
amazing.
so
yeah.
I think so. I think people have to find their times
Yeah.
for productivity. When are you the most productive? Because you can I can work after 2 up until 10 o'clock p.m. But what is the quality of what I have produced during that time?
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah. Do you find that you're ever too tired to write? Or do you think that writing actually gives you energy?
Well, it really just it depends. I have been too tired to write. And then, those times there's like a phrase go through my head, and it's like it's not letting me.
Yeah.
It wants to be written down. So I said, dang on it. I'm gonna have to get up, and then I'll write down the line, and I'll try to go back to sleep. And say I'll come back to it later. Then it says, I got another line for you. Then I get
Yeah.
up, and I'm saying, okay, I'm just gonna keep writing until all of it is out, and then I'm energized, then I'm stimulated, then I'm up.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how those two things work.
So there's something called an ultradian rhythm where human beings are productive if they work in chunks. Do you find that that works for you, or do you find that inspiration carries you through those time periods where it's not you don't really need after 30 minutes or 45 minutes to take a break, but you just follow the inspiration?
Well, it really sometimes I can't afford to wait for inspiration. Like for Sora, I have a Wednesday wisdom that has to come out every week,
Hmm.
and I can't wait to be inspired.
Right.
I have some thoughts about what I might want to write about, and then I just have to sit myself still and get still and write. And I can't wait for genie dust to sprinkle over me and say, "You're inspired." Right? Sometimes that happens and it's gold when it does. But,
Yeah.
a lot of us cannot wait to be
Mhm.
inspired. So when I talked about that early morning time, that's that chunk.
Mm.
Okay.
So 6, 7 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, that's my
Mhm.
chunk, right?
Mhm.
To get stuff done. In fact, when I call business offices, I usually call my things, I'll call at 10 or I call at 2 after they
Mm.
had their coffee and after they've had lunch. Everybody should be in a good mood.
All right.
Because I think a lot of us deal in chunks. What are
Yeah.
what is what part of the day most
Yeah.
resonates with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful that you know yourself so well. And I think that leads right into like one of the other things that's missing, right? Is the lack of self-knowing, right?
Yeah.
Most people don't know when they operate best.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think also a lot of us, we don't know what we need.
Mm.
Like, what do you need? And I think something that as I've gotten older, I'm really clear about what I need. Like,
Mhm.
I need to scent my home when I'm going through stressful periods. I need to take a candlelit shower every night when the pressure's on and I'm really busy. It helps me center. In the winter, I need my heating pad. Not for pain, but it's just, I think maybe it's a womb thing,
Mm.
but I put it on just to warm me up.
Mm.
And it makes me feel safe. It makes me feel comfortable. And I have my weighted blanket, my heating pad. My room smells like cinnamon, and my lights are low. Like I'm clear. And anybody's been around me, they can tell at night Tony gets lit. And if the ceiling lights are on anywhere, I don't turn down. I turn up like a 6-year-old. And even if I'm tired, I'm turning up. But I have to turn down the lights and I have to turn off all stimulation. One of the reasons why I stopped watching TV because I get overstimulated and I get distracted, and 3 hours can go by and nothing I wanted to get done gets done because I don't have that kind of disciplined focus.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like the blue light is such a big problem right now from all our devices. Like they've even done studies that found that it actually does trigger you
Hmm.
to wake up. But
Hmm.
also I feel like now so much of what's on social media is so hard to see. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of polarization and there's a lot of fear and a lot of anger. And I think that that is also consistently making people feel very
Yeah.
upset. And
Yeah.
that's
Always,
not, yeah,
always seeing what's wrong and not enough good news.
yeah.
A- and you know what? Even deeper than that, in general, our I think our nervous systems are overstimulated all the
Mhm.
time from the constant data. We don't have
Hmm.
enough time to digest because we aren't still. We don't move enough, but we also are never truly still. And so we
Hmm.
don't have time to process all of the information that's constantly coming at us all day
Right.
long. And
Yeah.
Right.
not just like on like through media, but just noise.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Background noise, refrigerator, the lights, that it's just constant, and we've become so almost kind of acclimated to it because it seems like normal until you go camping. And you're like,
well,
oh,
that's the part. That's part of the cause of the exhaustion epidemic.
Yeah.
That's part of it. And I know during the pandemic, during the shutdown, I was a part of a challenge, and it was a 3 component challenge, and there was one where we literally had to spend, I think it was a week, without sleeping, no devices in your bedroom,
mm,
no TV, no phone, no computer. None of this could be in your bedroom when you went to sleep. And it was the most difficult thing I've done in the last decade.
mhm,
Because the first few nights, the withdrawal symptoms,
right.
like you're
Yeah.
wondering who's calling me now, who's texting me now. And then I had anxiety about, well, what am I gonna do if I wake up in the middle of the night now? There's nothing to do. And those sorts of things. And that was a challenge. But, one of the things I did start to do was write.
Mm.
And I used it as a part of the how I coped with the stress and the grief of that intensive year known as 2020. And Kimberly, I'm wondering, can you share with us how writing has personally helped you in your own journey of healing and wellness?
Well, when I become overwhelmed and I can't figure it out, sometimes you feel like a dog chasing a tail. It's like, okay, so I'm worrying about too many things at one time and nothing's getting figured out. And so I'll write. And one of the things which you all were talking about, and this kind of like leads into my, I guess, my exercise, because as I thought about what was stressing people into this exhaustion, is that I think, and I have a, and this might just be my stuff, because I have a thing about really wanting to give voice to silences. What
Mm.
have you remanded to a silent space that you have not given voice to?
Mm.
There might be a particular issue, there might be a particular person who you, whose voice you want to hear and hear
Mm.
what it is that they might have to say,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
And I think that, I think these silences weigh us down, you know, when we don't voice how we feel about a particular issue, whether it be in the world or whether it be in our own homes, in our own families. You know, families are good for remanding us to these silent spaces
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
where we're not supposed to. Well, and I'm pretty sure you've all heard this. You know, we don't want to hear you. You know what is it? And not be seen. What is it? That
Be
saying?
seen and not heard.
Yeah, be seen and not heard, right?
Mhm.
So, you know, it's so we've been taught to be silent,
Yeah.
you know, for most of our lives. Sit over there in that
Mhm.
corner, be
Mm.
quiet.
Mhm.
When I have my students in my classroom, I am begging them to hear their own voice because
Yeah.
they have been conditioned from kindergarten to 12th grade that the student who is the most palatable is the one who is silent,
Yeah.
not the one who has a bunch of questions, not
Mm.
the one who is, you know, has this energy to really kind of go toe to toe, maybe in a respectful way, right? With
Sure.
because they're engaged
Mhm.
in their learning. And I think that this disengagement that has been fostered from 12th grade, you know, from from kindergarten to 12th grade is what has them in my classroom, you know, being quiet when I'm asking them, please, can I hear what it is that I really want to hear what you said? There's no wrong or right, right? I really want to hear what you have to say about this. That learning is a reciprocal activity. I'm here to learn from you just as much as you were here to learn from me. Now, granted, only one of us getting paid at the end of the day, but uh, this is a reciprocal enterprise. So,
Yes.
so I would, you know, uh, want you to explore, and this is something that we could explore today. w- What is it that you have remanded to a silent space? Who have
Mm.
you remanded to a silent space? And give that person or that issue or that um, inanimate object a voice.
Mm.
Mm.
So I don't know what it is that you would choose. And so first choose what it is that you want to give voice to. And then I want you to add cinnamon, um, purple, and I don't want just any kind of purple. Let's say turquoise. the smell of lavender,
Okay.
and the touch or the feel of tweed.
Wait, wait.
And using some of these five senses, give voice to what has been remanded into a silent space
Mm.
or to a silent space.
Okay, so cinnamon, the smell of lavender, the touch or the feel of tweed.
And turquoise.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So how
Okay.
long? How long is going to take you all? Yeah, I mean y'all. This is easy. This is butter for y'all. What, 5 7 minutes?
Okay, Takia, you have writing music you could play.
Sure.
Well, and I invite anyone who is listening to take a part into this exercise as well.
Yes,
I think
yes,
that would be wonderful to see what else other people have remanded to silent spaces that they decide to give voice to today.
yes. So listening, y'all. Okay, so we were going to take a few minutes to write. You all who are listening and watching, we're here with Kimberly Collins, master educator and founder of SOAR, and she runs a program underneath her SOAR organization called Writing for Healing. So we're going to press pause for a minute and we're going to write so we can heal too. Join us. Listen to the music. Okay.
All right. Whoa.
Yes, yes, yes.
That was,
Woo!
Kimberly, that was powerful.
Okay, I
Truly.
want to hear the power
Truly.
of your words.
Let's do this.
Go
Should I
ahead,
kick it off?
Alexandra. Kick it off, baby. Let's go.
Can we turn off the music? Is that okay?
No. But you don't want to sing it to this lovely
No.
lovely music. You sure?
Thank you.
I could. That would be a different piece. The smell of my mother's lavender piece. How I wish we could just have one moment to speak. I always begin with my grief, but it's anger beneath. A constant reminder like cinnamon in my teeth. I try to be a good daughter, but Father, it's you I want to speak with. But I wouldn't bother. How dare you not protect me? You're selfish, yes, you're hurt. I don't care if you hear this because I'm done feeling worthless. I smile bright like a turquoise smile. If you don't know what I mean, you're in denial. There's so much more I want to say. I had to grow up so fast, and now I want to play. Is that okay? I don't need your permission to be who I am. I know I can. A part of me wants to feel your hug, a tweed reminder that you still care, but you decided long ago to be unaware. Are you even in there? You'd sooner put me in harm's way than you. You were always the nice one, but I see that's not true. Not doing anything is just as much abuse.
Mm.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for that.
Thank you for sharing.
I feel
Yes.
like I got a weight off my chest.
Good.
Mm.
Good. Good. That's what it's supposed to do.
You're good at this.
The bomb is working.
It swallows and gulps like a whale. It feels like choking on cinnamon. It lights a fire in my spirit with its tail. The tears will surely win again. Turning my smile to tweed, anger scratches my tongue as it leaves. As I turn toward forgiveness out of habit, it sinks like a boulder in my belly. Understanding washes over, a turquoise waterfall cooling the flames on the surface, leaving the smell of burnt lavender on my skin. The boulder remains, smoother, but not soothed.
Thank you.
Yes, Sakia. Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
And so we see there that, when we talk about like what's the exhaustion, what's the stress, when you're naming these things that are dormant, that are silence. I think Alexandra said it was a weight, right? I think about Erica Badu's Bag Lady. You're carrying around this weight. So it's not even so much of the things that you have to do, but the things that you are doing internally to yourself that
Yes.
becomes a weight too and just drags you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuck energy, it inhibits our freedom, our natural flow, our chi, all of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's so true.
So what do you have to spit, Tony?
I was trying to get Kimberly to spit, y'all. She refused.
She's like, no.
Exactly.
I got you.
I wrote. Be nice, Tony. Be a good girl. Shh. Go on and hush, child. You ain't got to tell the truth all the time. Everything does not need to be spoken. Call on the Lord and you will be fine. In a moment of sitting in the stillness of my mind, I felt the pull to give voice to the thoughts vibrating like echoes of silence that rest uncomfortably in the crevices of my soul, living in me rent free amidst the scent of cinnamon and the soothing aroma of lavender. My family, with their rules of righteousness, setting firm boundaries, invisible yet like big cement walls, letting it be known that my silence was preferred.
Mm.
Oh, the ways I cried from having to hide, the ways I dreamed of turquoise skies and purple clouds shimmering above like fairy dust powder, a gentle protest to the whisperings of conformity. But my design had other things in mind.
Mm.
Little Tony had no interest in preserving appearances. My essence yearned to break the chains and be free, to dance in the vibrant hues of authenticity. I remember the touch of tweed, the scratchy fabric against my skin, a symbol of the constraints imposed upon my voice. They encouraged me to chill, to fade into the forest, to melt into the background. Something in me has always said no to the tapestry of tradition and convention, but I fell into the trap. An endless string of illnesses and sicknesses until I realized, nope, I am not plaid or an old school pattern. I am bright, bold. I am turquoise, rich, resonant, and real. And now, in this sacred space of reflection, I release the shackles of silence.
Mm.
I allow the words to flow. No longer will I be confined to the shadows of secrecy. With each click of the keys, with each stroke of my pen, I reclaim my truth. I honor my narrative. I express what I need. With the fragrance of lavender and the texture of tweed, I am writing for healing.
Nice.
Mm,
Nice, nice.
yeah.
So I invite you ladies to put that up on my wall. Soar has a wall. Wall. So please uh send your stuff to me so I can put it up on Soar's wall.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
if you
Yeah.
spit, we definitely will.
Kimberly, we have a few more
This is a
questions.
reciprocal engagement here.
Mm,
We
yeah.
have a few more questions before we let you go. So, what role does journaling play in the process of healing and self discovery?
Well, I think journaling is just one of those ways of taking your temperature on a given day. And, sometimes that temperature is good or not so good, lukewarm. But I think that is important to track a good day.
Hmm.
To have,
Mhm.
so it's not journaling is not to write just when I started when I was 7, 8 years old and just writing I can't stand my mama and I can't stand the teacher and it what it has evolved to is capturing my good days because it is so easy to get hung up and to remember what's bad. For some reason, we'll remember the bad a lot quicker than we'll remember the good. And
Hmm.
so I look at the journaling process as tracking the good, as well as because I'm a writer, I'm a poet. I sometimes I just write it down a line
Hmm.
that comes out for that day. It doesn't have to be the whole page. And I think that that's what sometimes stops people from journaling is that they think that they have to do it every day, but you can do it twice a week, once a week,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and be intentional, especially what I would leave you with, be intentional in tracking down and documenting the good days
Um,
because we're overload on what's not going well in this society and what's not going well in our own little pockets of the world. But there are some days that are just good days. You just wake up, you just feel good. You just need to embrace that. That's what I have begun to do. And then
yeah.
when I don't feel good, then I can this one of those times when I can flip back.
So I have a
Right.
question for you.
Mhm.
Do you have any success stories from people that you've worked with that have incorporated writing into their healing journey and how to really help them through the process?
I was talking to someone the other day about a group that I had with young men who were kind of in a halfway house rehab situation, and one of the guys was really reticent about writing. I was like, what am I going to do to get this dude to write? And felt like I had exhausted all the tricks in my bag.
Mhm.
And he had written, here and there, but it was not until maybe 2 years later, and I'm walking down a street in Southeast. I was in a park, and I hear somebody zooming up behind me, and I was a little scared. And he stopped. He was like, "Miss Collins, Miss Collins," and I was like, "Hey," I recognized his face, and he told me, he says, "I write all the time now. I keep my journal." And to see that
Mm.
kind of breakthrough, that's one of the success stories that I hold to my heart.
I love that.
That's beautiful.
So
Yeah.
sometimes when we talk about the tools, one of the things that I try to do, that I endeavor to do with SOAR, is to give exercises to debunk the mystique around writing, because
Mhm.
there's also trauma that people have experienced around writing in a
Yes.
classroom setting.
Mm.
So I'm having to challenge and break down those barriers as well. And just using cinnamon and lavender and showing the different ways that those couple of words are used in beautiful ways by separate people starts to have people honor their individuality
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
to see beauty in that.
That's beautiful. And that is part of how we can bring ourselves back into alignment and back into balance, is to reconnect to ourselves through small practices. Just really
Mhm.
allowing ourselves to remember our truth, to give voice to it, to let go of old family rules as we're able to connect with other women, especially in circle, or other humans who
Mhm.
are also conscious and on a path. Right? This space is healing because we're all willing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true. And Kimberly, I want to close with this question. So, a lot of people get intimidated by the thought of writing. They get intimidated by the thought of being creative. What advice would you give to them on their journey?
Well, I would say to join a writing circle.
Okay.
So because that would be one of the ways that you would handle that. SOAR has writing online courses.
Right, right,
Look out
right.
for those. And but there are a lot of other people who, especially since the pandemic, who are coming together in circles where they're writing.
Mm,
And one of the things that I think, when I think about your ciphers,
yeah.
Tony,
Mhm.
and how part of what perhaps got some of the youth involved was that they were writing, even though they were like, they were spitting,
Right.
they were
Yeah.
writing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and just to show the different ways that writing can show up.
Yeah.
And for, like, I've had students, I had one student in particular, but who had a learning disability.
Mhm.
But she was a really good thinker. And I said, "Tell you what, you should use your tape recorder. Write it out there. Just talk it out. And then type. Then you can, work as a dictator for yourself."
I love that. Those are really, really great tips. And thank you for reminding me too about that. The recording does work with a
Mhm.
lot of folks. Like sometimes you just got to talk out loud. And
Exactly.
and then you get to see what brilliance you can gift the world with. A lot of times when we are intimidated by writing, we don't even realize when there are people who telling you you should write a book, you should write a book. That's because there's something inside of you that people value and are inspired by,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
And if you can't put your pen to the paper or sit at the computer, just get that phone, talk it out.
Talk it
That's
out.
and you can work it out that way. Okay, well, we've kept you long, honey.
Thank
We
you.
we went longer than we planned on going, and we so appreciate you visiting with us, Takia. I
And I
mean,
appreciate you all asking me to be here. I
yeah,
enjoyed the exercise. Send those poems to SOAR so we could put them on the wall. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
we
you.
will send
Thank
you the
you.
poems.
You got it.
All right. You all
So
have a blessed day on purpose.
You
Yes.
as well.
Yes, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. I'm
Thank
Tony Blackman.
you.
And today we had our lyrical meditation cipher
This is
co-host.
where we breathe, we
We
spit,
sit and we
and we
vibe.
vibe.
Yes, indeed. All right.